Hello, everyone. This is Faye, and this is I Sell Medicare Plans Community. I am live for our Wednesday night Q&A. And as you have been pre-warned and forewarned, tonight's question is, are you RTS? Are you RTS? Everybody wonders, what does it take to make any one of you successful? It takes a lot of things. But the main thing is, in our business, you have to be ready to sell. And not just ready to sell mentally, emotionally, and physically, but you must be ready to sell as a certified by the insurance carriers. So let's talk about what does it take for you to be RTS, ready to sell. So when you hear RTS, are you RTS? Are you ready to sell? Number one, and these are things that you can check tomorrow. You have Thursday and Friday to be sure that you have all of these things in place and you are ready to sell come Sunday, which I believe is October 1st. Number one is, do you have in your arsenal, in your bag, in your portfolio, do you have the carriers that you need to work with for this upcoming AEP? Have you sat with someone and have you considered what areas you're working, where the most of your customers are going to be, how you're going to reach them, and what plans, what companies are most prevalent in those areas? One of the ways that you were able to start to decipher which plans you might offer first and foremost is you would have attended the rollouts. During those rollouts, the carriers told you what sets them apart from every other carrier. Most of them pointed out the differences that they would have for 2024. So you need to be sure that you have the carriers that you need to work with. Now, by just having the carriers and knowing who they are is not the only level. You also need to be certified, completely certified, and received confirmation from that carrier that you are ready to sell. You have completed the certification 100%. You have completed all of the requirements for their business. When it comes to each carrier has a different certification. Each carrier is required to be certain that you are certified by their standards. So the certifications for each carrier, once it's completed, you are ready to sell with that carrier. That doesn't mean that you need to know everything there is to know about every plan that that carrier has. But what it means is that you are ready to actually offer the plans from that carrier. So if you are not sure, if you've completed all of your certifications, let's do this tomorrow and Friday. call each producer help desk or agent helpline or agent line that is available to you for those carriers. Call in and ask, am I showing as being certified and ready to sell? Now, if you're selling in more than one state, you want to get confirmation that you're not only ready to sell in your resident state, but you're ready to sell in the other states as well. Don't be the person who goes ahead to write an application or write several applications during AEP and not receive commissions because you were not properly licensed in the state. So if you are working and if you plan to work in more than one state, not only check and verify and confirm that you're ready to sell in your state, but you're also ready to sell in the other states as well. Once you have confirmed with each carrier that you're ready to sell, as you have the producer help desk or the agent help desk on the line, or the broker help desk, whatever they call themselves, when you get them on the line, confirm your writing number. Yes, confirm your writing number so that if by any chance you're not able to complete electronic applications where the application automatically captures your writing number, you will have the correct writing number. Some of us write as the principal of our agency. So the agency has a number and you have a number. So make sure that you know that what those writing numbers are and what number is going to be used on the application. That's another checkpoint to make sure that you are ready to sell. Now, these are tasks that you're going to do on Thursday and Friday of this week. And those are the last 2 days. And no, they're not. Saturday is the last day in September. October 1st, by this point, you should have received your small supply of sales materials that you've ordered from each of the carriers with whom you have certified. Take the time over the weekend, review the summary of benefits. Read the summary of benefits in its entirety. Go into the full summary of benefits, not just the schedule at the beginning of the book. Read the small print. Learn how the flex cards work in the various plans. Learn what's important in each of those plans. Take the notes that you've taken during the rollouts that the carriers have mentioned to you and use those notes to compare what it says in the summary of benefits. By this time, you should be able, for most of the carriers, you'll be able to download the evidence of coverage as well. You may not be able to do that for each carrier until October 1st. But if that's the case, download the evidence of coverage. Evidence of coverage is the Bible when it comes to keeping and knowing the fine print on the legalese of the Medicare plan. So the summary of benefits is where you're going to know how the benefits work for your customer. And the evidence of coverage is where you're going to find all of the exclusions listed. And if you have questions and you're not sure, just say you're not sure. but you will check and you will find out and you will let them know. When you have completed your review, highlighting in your copy of the summary of benefits, you now have a better understanding of those plans that you do want to offer. Why should you go through all of this trouble, you may be asking yourself? Because you're going to be on a fast pace. And as that fast pace goes, you want to have as many answers in your head and at your fingertips as possible. You want to be ready to actually offer the plan that's going to best fit the customer in the shortest period of time so that you can move on to the next person. Think about how long it takes for you before you are totally disgusted when someone is talking to you for a long, long time. Keep your conversations and your presentations going smoothly by sticking to the facts, sticking to business, talking about what is important to the customer, but stay in control of the conversation. Now you're ready to sell to this point because you have gotten your certification, you have completed your review and your study of the plans that you're working with. You check to see that you are properly appointed with the carrier in the states where you're working. Now you are ready to sell. When you get to being in front of the actual person to do the presentation, remember, during the first 60 seconds, you must say the disclaimer that you do not represent all plans that are available. If you do, that's great. Then that's what you say. You might say which plans you represent, but you must use the disclaimer that you do not represent all plans if you don't in the area, and give the person that you're talking to, the Medicare beneficiary, the opportunity to find out what all those plans are by contacting Medicare.gov, 1-800-Medicare, or SHIPS. So don't forget, you have to say that. If you're conducting your presentation on the phone, it is very, very important that you remember that your call must be recorded. You must record that sales presentation. So you're not going to go through the schedule at the beginning of the summary of benefits. You're going to go through the entire summary of benefits. You must also include the fact that there are stars ratings and what they mean, and explain them to a degree. Explain the overall rating of the plan. It's not necessary to go into depth, breaking it out by the pharmacy is this stars rating and the medical is this. Do the overall, because it is required that you give the overall stars rating when you are presenting. It is also required that you let the Medicare beneficiary know who you are, why you're there, who you represent, and tell them that you will be there when after they've completed the application to help them through the process of getting set up with their doctors and anything else that you can help them with. This year, there's a checklist required as well. And that checklist says that you need to go through the prescription drugs. So when you are doing your scope of appointments, 48 hours before the appointment, you might ask your prospective customer to have their prescriptions ready. Explain to them what you need from them about the prescriptions. not just the name of the prescriptions, but the dosage and how often they take it as well is important. So you will need the prescription drug information. You, on the checklists for 2024, you need to also gather their physicians' names so you can put them in to see if their doctors are covered. And if they are, great. If they aren't, let them know. Well, this doctor is in network. However, this doctor is not in network. If that creates a problem, you will need to work around it by either offering a plan where all of the providers are included or asking if they would change that doctor and letting them know that that's a requirement for the plan if that's the plan that they would choose to have. You are ready to sell. You are actually doing your selling at this point. This is the time when you have worked so very hard trying to get all those certifications done, trying to get all your calls in, trying to get yourself organized, trying to get your booklets and everything that you need to actually do it, trying to make sure that your car has been serviced, washed, cleaned, and is ready and has gas in it, trying to make sure that your wardrobe is all set, and trying to make sure that you personally are all set and ready to sell. Yes, you are ready to sell at this point. If you have gone through everything that I've told you in the last 20 minutes, then you are so ready to sell. I am open for any other questions that you have tonight. The question that I wanted to answer was, are you ready to sell? So now you know what is required for you to be ready to sell. Are there any other questions from anyone? I am waiting to see if there are any questions. This is live. I will post the recording. Speaking of recordings, let me ask you this as a group. And please take just a minute to answer when you get the email. Do you prefer the Facebook Live, or would you prefer the Zoom and it's recorded so that you can look at these sessions later? Let me know what your preference is. I am going to still try to do for you the 8 p.m. Wednesday evenings during AEP. We will all be busy, but I'm taking the time just to make sure that you have answers to the questions that you ask of me. At this point, you're ready to sell. So whoever you're aligned with, be sure that it's working for you. You will have an opportunity come January to change who you're working with and who your business partners might be. Look for opportunities if you need to. Look for chances for you to improve. Make sure that you take the time to take notes of everything that happens so that you can look back and say, well, today I wrote 6 apps. Yesterday I only wrote 2. How many people did I see yesterday? And how many people did I see today? Keep those numbers. If you can keep track of what you're doing, you'll notice the pattern by which your plans and your business will grow. Keep track of what you're doing. Make sure that you note for yourself those things that you did well and those things that you might do better. There's always improvement for anyone, and that includes me. I am not perfect. I know you thought that I was, but I'm not. So everyone has an opportunity to do something a little better. This is going to conclude the answers to the question, are you ready to sell? I'm just going to tell you, yes, you are ready to sell.